record on the computer.
Okay. Hello, everyone. And Janis, what's up? How are you?
Hey, I'm great. It's a great sunny day. A bit windy, but everything's dope.
Yeah, here's a bit cloudy, but hopefully it doesn't rain today. I have a lot of stuff to do after, so
Good luck with that.
So yeah, I need, I need to buy the dog food and a few things like that. So basically today I want to take advantage that now that I have you here and kind of pick your brain on the visual side of things. So how you come up with visual ideas and a bit of everything, because I started doing visuals recently, like for the last 2-3 weeks on Twitter, thanks to you and your course. And I got inspired, and I'm always trying to experiment with new ways of putting content out there that it's easy to consume and something like that. And visuals are the perfect way to do that. And since I'm like a super on-brand guy with everything is orange on my Twitter profile, it's super helpful for me to create these visuals because it helps with that brand. So I was wondering a few things today, because I started doing these visuals, but they are still far from perfect, obviously. So I was wondering to hear from you, like, what would you say are the 2-3 core things that makes like a good visual first, and then how can you become like a good visual content creator? We can jump on that later, but the first thing, like, what does make a good visual for you, like a good visual piece of content?
Yeah, I could leave you with three things that I believe, especially if somebody is listening who would like to get into visual content creation and just start to get some engagement and so on. But when I share this, keep in mind, like, kind of the goal why I am doing visuals, and this advice mostly is tailored, if you want good engagement, if you want to, explain ideas visually, if you want to get like freelance clients and freelance gigs and so on, if you want to do something similar that if you've seen what I do and some other people, kind of one of my first piece of advice, and what I have like witnessed after teaching a couple of people in my course, one of the first thing what I notice is that a lot of people, one of the sales pitch, in my course is that you don't need to be a designer to do this. And that is very true. And kind of through my course, just through a couple of maybe examples and so on, I kind of explain why that is the case. And I think that is the first thing to understand. If you have this lousy belief that I am not able to create visuals, it's a big bag of bullshit. you totally can, because this might be a valid excuse 10-20 years ago, but just think about how much tutorials are out there, how much tools are out there, how advanced those tools are. It's really not that hard to pick a random whatever, pick one of my visuals, pick one of other people's visuals, just recreate it in some sort of program, whatever it's Figma, Canva, doesn't matter. There's tons of different tools, and just try to recreate it and put a new idea inside that thing. So that's kind of the first thing, just to shake off that stupid belief, because a lot of people have it, and a lot of people have joined the course, they had zero design background and so on, and they just started to create and got really good engagements and stuff, and just really understood, holy shit, I can really do this. Okay, then kind of moving on to the second thing, and another thing is just, again, this is the reasons I explained, is like, get freelance clients, explain ideas visual. We are not talking about fancy art or some super artistic type of thing. I'm not doing that as well, in my opinion. Okay, some people think it's pretty and so on, but it's not. I'm not a designer. I don't know how to draw extremely pretty horses and stuff like that. It's about explaining ideas, and what 80% of the people probably want. They want interesting ideas delivered, fast, delivered in a novel way. That's what most people want. They don't care about what type of, like, I don't know, font you are using, colors or something else. So that's kind of the focus is on delivering ideas, not making fancy art, especially at the beginning. And especially if you are not like fancy ass designer, get good with explaining ideas visually, and then you can slowly improve your artistic skill and make it more beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Make it just better, because like, here's the thing, if you'll try to get like super awesome at design and just artistic type of things, nobody will really care. It's very hard to break through because there are millions of designers. There are not that many people who explain ideas visually, and that you can do without design background. And you kind of initially you can get very good traction, very good engagement, very good progress, and that will give you momentum and feeling, and everything will be awesome. And just then you can improve it from there. Okay, that's kind of more like the philosophical type of advice. But now I want to just give two solid points, which I believe will make everybody a better kind of visual creator if your goal is, again, to explain ideas visually, so on. It's like two things which I've noticed in the course that I think most people kind of struggle with and kind of get wrong. When we explain ideas visually, often I see that everybody feels that we should always come up with very fancy metaphors and make everything complicated and so on. And that, I think, is one of the core mistakes. For example, a lot of my visuals are extremely simple bar charts. It's stupidly simple. It's just ridiculous, but it works. And I'm not saying everybody should use it, but everybody's using bar charts. It comes from the corporate world and Excel and so on. So you really don't need to go super fancy. You don't need to always come up with extreme fancy metaphors and so on. Most of my best like engagement tweets and so on are extremely simple that most people can draw. Okay, a couple of them are maybe a bit more artistic and so on, but most of them are very simple because, again, ideas over prettiness and all that jazz. So clarity is one of the most important things that people should strive to do. Just be clear. Think about the idea you want to deliver and be clear. That is just, clear communication. Ask a couple of friends, do you get this? Do you get this? Do you get this? It's same with let's say with memes online. Some memes,
exactly.
The best ones are that you get like instantly. It's a similar. Think about memes as well. Yeah,
I think it's similar because if you look at memes, like if you take a regular meme, it's often something like it's cropped from a, like the form, like the style is shitty. Like what matters is the idea. Like the format, it doesn't matter. Like it's like a pixel image sometimes that it has been reshared and reshared again, and that's what makes it interesting. So I took a couple of notes like of everything that you said, and the first one I wanted to ask you is, why do you think people worry that much about the tool that is going to use? Because if you check your own comments, your own replies, or even me, that now that I started doing the visuals, a lot of the questions are, okay, what tool are you using to do this? And I think people think that the tool is what makes the visual, and the tool, it doesn't really matter. You can actually do it with, like pen and paper and take a photo and put it online. You don't really need to use any fancy tool. So why do you think people are, have that mindset that, okay, it's the tool that makes the visual?
Well, I don't know all the philosophy behind this, but it's the same thing why we all walk around with Nikes and so on, because we think like, if like Usain Bolt is walking with Nikes or something, that we will put those and we will just be better and feel better and so on. It's a common thing, and I think every creator have been there. I have been there a lot, years back when I just started to aspire to be a creator and so on. I think it's a very common thing, and it's very normal. But one thing I want to add, and as well, again, with the meme comparison, that one thing is, okay, memes will deliver ideas, but memes will not usually get you freelance. If you want to get freelance, you need to think about our artistic side of things as well, and then kind of tools and all that kind of comes in handy. But I don't want to go in a big detail to that. It really doesn't matter. You really should focus on delivering ideas clearly and fast. Don't try to make it too messy. Remove clutter. Try to be clear, fast, and I don't know if I have anything else, but that's kind of the core concept. Just be clear and try to deliver those ideas fast.
I think here, like, clear and fast are the keywords. Like fast for me is super important in social media, not social media, like content in general. So because attention spans, like people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter every time because we receive like too many impacts, so we don't have that much time to concentrate. So the faster you can deliver an idea, even if it's on writing, on a visual, in a video, like to get someone hooked, the better probably engagement or whatever you are going to get. So I think the like there's something that you used to, like we talked about sometimes, is like the calories that it burns in someone. So I think that's a super interesting topic. So can you talk more about that calorie kind of thing?
Yeah, this one, that the calorie idea that I stole actually from a guy who's I think his name is Donald Miller. He wrote the book Story Brand. It's a very good book on marketing. It's very fascinating and very interesting. I highly recommend that book as well. But yeah, one of the things that he kind of was just talking about, that you always, when you create ads or something like that, imagine that, we are like how much calories your audience will burn while they will go through your ad. And that was, I really like that metaphor, that analogy, and that's kind of what I strive for as well. Like, I want to deliver you this idea with you burning as least calories as possible. That is one of the fundamental things that I usually try to do, and that I usually try to teach people to do as well. And kind of the reason for this is as well, and you mentioned a very good point, that we have these short attention spans and so on and so on. And what, like, again, the thing I was really blown away, that a lot of people who started to create visuals just with super small audiences and so on got like massive engagement. Some of the things went viral with just couple of hundred followers without much traction. I was really blown away by that. So that kind of really strengthened my belief that this works, and this works with people who have low credibility online. If you have high credibility, if you are Tim Ferriss, Naval, whatever, you can put out a very long blog post just in plain text without any visuals, and people will read that thing because there is very high credibility. People know they produce great things. But for me, for you, for some other people who are not that massive on social media and so on, we have not yet established massive credibility. That's where visuals really help, because we just deliver an idea, an interesting concept, without you scrolling by. You just, in a split second, in 1 second, in 2 seconds, you can get some interesting ideas, interesting cookies just like, it's nice, clever, and that's how you build trust, and that's how you build credibility with visuals. And that's why I believe they are very good tool to master if your credibility is low and if you kind of want to break out. But there's always TikTok, there's people just in 2 weeks get 100 million views. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to like get back into the thing that it doesn't need to be like a super complicated or fancy visual like this. What really matters is that the idea clicks with people. And I remember that you had like probably like your most viral tweet ever. And I remember it because it was crazy. You got like, I don't know, 30K likes, like or even more. I don't know how much it got.
No, I think it was over 20K likes. It has more than 2 million impressions,
and it was like
crazy.
Simple, like square, like with 3 or 4 arrows, and that's it, right? It was like super simple, but what mattered was like the idea behind it, and people started sharing, and like that snowball. But the thing is that it was super simple. I think it was one of your simplest visuals, actually.
Yeah, and I think there's a thing that okay, but going off track a bit, you need to take a lot of notes and so on just to gather those ideas and so on. But the production of that visual was super fast, and I still remember to this day. I created the visual was 4 loops that cause creative struggle. That was the tweet. And then there was basically 4 loops that usually we do, and what we avoid kind of, and what creates this creative struggle. And I quickly created 3 of them. And then my wife was like kind of next to me. I thought, hey honey, dude, what comes to mind, when we talk about creative struggles and so on. And she just said something like, when you come up with new ideas, and you never start or finish something. I was like, oh yeah, that's really good one. So I quickly made the 4th one. So it just has the fourth pieces, and that's it. I like quick published, and it went balonies. So yeah, quick story.
So it was thanks to your wife, right? That you got viral.
Definitely. She did 25% of the work.
Yeah, that's super cool. But yeah, I think visuals are just so powerful tools, and so cool to the other thing that you mentioned earlier at the beginning is that the mental block that you think you need to be a designer to do this, but you really don't. I think most people that, for example, in your course, in your community, like I think most of the people that are doing visuals every day right now, they didn't even know how to use like the tools that they are using right now. Because I remember, like, for example, Alex, who is from Spain, and he also got like 1,000 followers because he started putting the visuals and he just reached 1,000 followers. I remember he was asking like how to trace things and stuff like that. And this was like 3 weeks ago, not that, like not that far away. So I think that's another thing that it's important for people to understand, that they need zero skill basically to start doing this.
Yeah, that's very true. Like kind of one metaphor or analogy that I usually try to tell people is, there was a time, now you can go to Google Sheets and you can do basic things with it. You can like arrange columns and you can do some basic calculations, and there was a time where you didn't know, and there's like so many tools, so many things that you just didn't know. But somehow when we think about visuals, we have this, oh my god, you need to be an artist, you need to go into college, and you need to do this and that. But it's so easy. Just look, people are creating TikTok videos in minutes, and you need to understand that all this technology helps with all of this stuff. So it's mostly about ideas and just mostly believing in ourselves and just going for it. And so I don't know, that's kind of my it went a bit longer episode than we thought it could be, but those are kind of a couple of core concepts. I think just focus on the ideas, really believe that you can do it. Give yourself, just do a commitment, for 1 week, for 1 month, that you will just pick up a random tool, or you will just find some work that you are inspired by, and you will try to kind of recreate it in maybe a bit your own style, change some colors, change some lines, change the idea. You can take a lot of visual kind of templates and put different ideas in. That's something I often do as well, especially, and I'm kind of like recently quite busy, but I'm trying to keep up with my daily consistency, and I just take previous concepts and just slap some new idea into that kind of chart or concept or whatever. But
like the more you create, also like the more ideas you have from the past to pull back from. So that's super interesting too.
Definitely, that's definitely a good point to remember, that the more you will do it, the easier it will start kind of to happen. There will be moments of struggle and so on. That's very normal, but So
cool. So I think we can wrap it up for today. I think this was basically a masterclass on making visuals. So if anyone wants to start, just ask Janis how to do it, and just get started. Don't worry too much about it.
Exactly, for sure, 100%. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. Okay, cheers, guys. I think this was good.
Okay.
Bye, Alex.
Bye.
Peace.